The smoke hung thick and heavy over the broken landscape. Twisted metal and scorched earth stretched out in every direction, a dark canvas of destruction that told the story of a battle fought and lost. In the middle of this wasteland, a single figure lay almost hidden among the debris. David Henderson wasn't dead. Not yet. His body was a map of wounds. Deep cuts crossed his arms and legs. Burn marks covered his tactical armor. Blood mixed with dirt and alien dust created a dark paste on his skin. But something special lived inside David, something the aliens never expected. Military nanobots. These tiny machines moved through his body like tiny workers, finding damage and fixing it piece by piece. When normal humans would have died, David's body was slowly, quietly repairing itself. Each broken cell, each damaged tissue was being carefully reconstructed. The planet around him was alien and harsh. Two suns hung in a purple-green sky. Strange rock formations jutted from the ground like broken teeth. Alien plants with metallic leaves swayed in a toxic wind. This was not Earth. This was not a place meant for human survival. A small hover drone moved across the battlefield. Its scanner swept back and forth, looking for any signs of life. The drone was part of the Galactic Council's cleanup team, a group responsible for clearing battlefields and collecting valuable resources. Inside the drone, a young technician named Erin watched his screens. He was bored. This was just another routine mission. Scan the area. Check for survivors. Remove anything valuable. Move to the next location. Sector 7 clear, Erin said into his communication device. His voice was flat and uninterested. No life signs detected. But Erin was wrong. David's eyes flickered, not fully open, but moving. His breathing was slow and controlled, a skill learned from years of military training. Even half-conscious, he was aware of the pain, aware of his surroundings, aware that he was being left for dead. The nanobots continued their work. They were designed by the best military scientists on Earth. These weren't just simple repair machines. They were advanced technology that could rebuild tissue, fight infection, and keep a soldier alive under impossible conditions. Erin's drone moved away. The cleanup team would report this sector as completely cleared. No survivors, no potential threats, just another dead battlefield in a war that most species in the galaxy barely understood. David's right hand twitched, just a small movement, but it was a movement. In the distance, a large alien ship lifted off. Massive engines burned bright against the alien sky. The Kraxan Collective, the military force that had attacked David's unit, was leaving the planet. They believed their mission was complete. They believed every human was dead. They were wrong. As the ship disappeared, David took a slow, careful breath. His mind was already working, analyzing, planning. Survival was not just about healing. Survival was about what came next. The nanobots continued their work, slowly, carefully, rebuilding. David Henderson was going to live, and the Galactic Council had no idea what was coming. The first thing David did was breathe, a deep, careful breath that sent sharp pain through his body. But pain meant he was alive. Pain meant he could think. Pain meant he could fight. His eyes slowly opened, scanning the alien landscape. The two suns were different now. One had set, leaving a dim purple glow across the broken battlefield. Metallic plants cast long shadows. Rocks that looked like broken glass stretched in every direction. David knew survival had rules. Rules he had learned in the toughest military training on Earth. First rule: stay quiet. Stay hidden. His body was changing. The nanobots were more than just medical machines. They were rebuilding him. Stronger, faster, repairing damage that would kill a normal human. He could feel them working. Tiny machines moving through his blood, fixing broken cells, fighting off alien infections. He moved his fingers, then his hand, then his arm. Each movement was slow and careful. Each movement hurt, but each movement worked. Around him, the battlefield was a treasure chest of survival tools. Broken alien technology, destroyed military equipment, pieces of equipment that could be fixed, pieces that could help him live. David's military training kicked in. He had been a U.S. Army Ranger, not just a soldier, a survivor, someone trained to live when everything said he should die. He pulled himself closer to a large piece of destroyed alien equipment. It was big, maybe 3 meters long, metallic, with strange markings he didn't understand. But David understood machines. Machines were just puzzles waiting to be solved. His hands moved carefully, checking, testing, looking for anything that could help him communicate, anything that could help him understand where he was, anything that could help him survive. The first piece he found was a communication device, broken, but not completely destroyed. David's fingers moved slowly, carefully opening panels, checking circuits. His military training and natural skill with technology began to work. Nanobots in his body were doing more than healing. They were helping him think faster, process information quickly, see connections a normal human would miss. Hours passed. The second sun disappeared. Darkness came to this alien world. But darkness didn't mean sleep for David. Darkness meant work. Darkness meant survival. By the time the first sun began to rise, David had parts of the communication device spread out. Some fixed, some still broken, but he was learning. Understanding alien technology piece by piece, he found a power source, something the aliens used to run their equipment. David's fingers connected wires, tested connections, watched carefully. A small light blinked on the device, then another. Then a series of alien symbols appeared on a small screen. David smiled. His first victory. The planet around him was dangerous. Toxic winds blew across metallic plants. Strange creatures moved in the shadows between rock formations. But David was becoming part of this world, learning its secrets, preparing to fight back. The Kraxan Collective thought they had won. They thought every human was dead. They were wrong. David Henderson was going to make sure of that. Communication device crackled to life. Strange symbols danced across its screen. David's fingers moved carefully, mapping out the alien language. Every soldier knows that information is the most powerful weapon. His military training had taught him one important lesson. Understand your enemy before you fight them. The Kraxan Collective thought they had won. They thought the human military was finished. But David was about to prove them wrong. Days had passed since he first repaired the device. His body was healing. The nanobots continued their work, making him stronger with each passing hour. What would have killed a normal human was just a challenge for David Henderson. He discovered the device could do more than just receive signals. With careful adjustments, he could send messages, short bursts of information, encrypted signals that would be hard for the aliens to understand. His first message was simple: coordinates, information about the battlefield, proof that at least one human was still alive. The message was sent to Earth, a tiny beacon of hope in the vast darkness of space. But David wasn't just waiting to be rescued. He was preparing to fight back. The battlefield around him was more than just a place of destruction. It was a resource. Every piece of alien technology was a potential weapon. Every broken machine could be fixed. Every destroyed vehicle could be used. He found an alien communication array, partially damaged but not completely destroyed. David's fingers moved quickly. His enhanced mind, thanks to the nanobots, saw connections others would miss. Wires were reconnected. Circuits were bypassed. Alien technology began to work again. The first alien patrol came 3 days later. They didn't expect anything. Just a routine check of the battlefield. A small group of 4 Kraxan soldiers in a hover vehicle. They moved slowly, confidently, believing nothing could survive in this wasteland. David watched from behind a rock formation. His body was still healing, but his mind was sharp. His training was perfect. The hover vehicle stopped near some destroyed equipment. The aliens began their scan. Their equipment looked for life signs, but David knew how to hide. The nanobots in his body could mask his heat signature, make him invisible to their technology. One alien stepped out of the vehicle, a commander by the look of his equipment. He carried a weapon that could destroy a human in seconds, but David was no ordinary human. As the alien commander walked, David made his move. A small device he had created from alien technology began to send out a signal that would confuse their communication systems, create chaos, make them believe something was wrong with their equipment. The aliens became confused. Their communication systems went crazy. Warning lights flashed inside their vehicle. David smiled. This was just the beginning. He didn't want to kill them. Not yet. He wanted to send a message that humans were not beaten. A message that said, "We are still here. We are still fighting." As the confused alien patrol tried to understand what was happening, David began to plan his next move. The Kraxan Collective had made a mistake. They left David Henderson alive. The Galactic Council meeting room was quiet. Too quiet. Something was wrong, and everyone could feel it. Junho sat at the edge of the massive circular table. He was young, the youngest analyst in the room, but he saw things others missed. His datapad showed strange patterns, signals that didn't make sense, disruptions in Kraxan territory that nobody could explain. "These readings are impossible," Elder Kira said. Her voice was sharp, dismissive. She had seen hundreds of planetary conflicts. To her, this was nothing special. Junho knew different. The signals were real. They showed something was happening on the abandoned battlefield, something that shouldn't be possible. "The human military was completely destroyed," said diplomatic advisor Sungmin. "Our reports were clear. The Kraxan Collective eliminated all human forces in Sector 7. But Junho's data told a different story. Strange communication bursts, weird energy signatures, small disruptions in alien patrol patterns. These were not random events. These were signs of something, or someone, still alive." The large holographic display in the center of the room showed a map of the battlefield. Most council members saw nothing. Empty space, destroyed equipment, a dead zone. Junho saw possibilities. "We should send another reconnaissance team," he said. His voice was calm, careful. He knew the other council members would laugh at him. And they did. Elder Kira's laugh was the loudest. "A human survivor? Impossible. Our cleanup teams are the best in the galaxy. They don't leave anything alive." But Junho had evidence, small pieces of information that didn't fit the official story. Communication bursts that followed no known alien or human pattern. Energy signatures that moved and changed in ways that didn't make sense. The other council members saw nothing. They saw a completed mission, a successful military operation, another alien species removed from the galactic map. Junho saw a mystery. Some men watched the young analyst carefully. He was different from the other council members. More careful, more thoughtful. "What exactly are you seeing?" he asked. Junho brought up his data. Strange signal patterns, weird communication bursts, small disruptions in alien patrol networks. Each piece of information was tiny. Alone, they meant nothing. But together, they told a story of survival. "Someone is out there," Junho said. "Someone is sending signals. Someone is fighting back." The room went silent. Elder Kira rolled her eyes. "Impossible," she repeated. But deep down, a small part of her wondered. Just for a moment. The Kraxan Collective believed they had won. The Galactic Council believed the mission was complete. They were wrong. David Henderson was still alive, and he was just getting started. David's world was a puzzle, and he was going to solve it. The alien communication device he had repaired was now something completely different. No longer just a receiver, it was a weapon, a tool of chaos, a way to fight back when he was still too weak to fight directly. His nanobots were doing more than healing now. They were helping him understand alien technology faster than any human should. Circuits that would take months to decode, he could understand in hours. Communication systems that seemed impossible to hack, he could break into in minutes. The first rule of war is information. David knew this better than anyone. He began to send false signals, fake communication bursts that made the Kraxan collective think something was happening in different parts of the planet. One moment, a signal would suggest a large human force was gathering near a mountain range. The next moment, another signal would hint at a different location. The aliens became confused. Their patrols changed. They started moving in random patterns, wasting resources, burning fuel, spreading their forces thin. David watched from his hidden location. Each successful signal was a small victory. The battlefield was changing. What was once a place of destruction was now David's training ground. Broken alien technology became his tools. Destroyed equipment became his resources. He was turning this dead planet into his own personal workshop. His body was changing too. The nanobots were doing more than just healing. They were adapting, making him stronger, helping him understand the alien environment. What would have killed a normal human was now just another challenge for David. He found an alien communication network, not just a single device, but a full network of communication systems. Most would see a complex maze of technology. David saw a playground. Piece by piece, he began to understand their systems, their communication codes, their patrol patterns, their weaknesses. The Kraxan military thought they were perfect. But no military is perfect. David had been a U.S. Army Ranger. He knew how to find weaknesses, how to exploit small mistakes. He started small. First, he would send signals that made their communication systems glitch. Small problems. Nothing that would make them suspect a human survivor. Just enough to create confusion. Then he got bolder. He discovered how to hack their patrol schedules, make their vehicles go to wrong locations, create small mistakes that would drive their commanders crazy. Each day, David became stronger. Each day, he learned more about the alien technology. Each day, he became a bigger threat. The Kraxan collective was about to learn a hard lesson. Never leave a U.S. Army Ranger for dead. David Henderson was going to make sure of that. The message came in small pieces, broken, difficult to understand, but important. Admiral Hyun-Ki stared at the communication screen. His office was dark. Only the soft blue light of the screen showed anything. Each signal was a puzzle. Each piece of information was important. "This can't be real," Captain Min Seo said. She stood behind the admiral. Her voice was hard, serious. The messages were from David Henderson, a U.S. Army Ranger who was supposed to be dead, supposed to be gone. But he was alive, and he was fighting. Jai-Yun, the technical specialist, worked quickly. Her fingers moved across multiple screens. She was decoding, analyzing, understanding the strange signals that came from the alien planet. "These signals are incredible," she said. "They're not just messages. They're intelligence reports, detailed information about alien military movements." Admiral Hyun-Ki knew what this meant. One surviving soldier could change everything. The military computer room was full of activity. People moved quickly. Screens showed maps, communication networks, information from the alien planet. David's messages were more than just survival signals. They were a complete blueprint of alien military weakness, how they communicated, how they moved, where their bases were located. "We can't launch a full rescue mission," Captain Min Seo said. "It would be too risky. The Galactic Council would stop us before we could start." The admiral nodded. He understood the problem, but he also understood opportunity. They would prepare, quietly, carefully. Special equipment was being prepared. Communication devices that could work across impossible distances. Specialized technology that could track David's signals. Technology that could potentially help him survive. Jai Yun worked on something special, a communication device that could send encrypted messages, messages that would look like normal space noise to any alien scanning system. He's doing more than surviving, Jai Yun said. He's gathering intelligence, creating chaos in their military systems. The room went quiet. One soldier, alone on an alien planet, doing more damage to the enemy than an entire military division could do. Admiral Hyun Ki made a decision. They would support David, but quietly, carefully, without anyone knowing. Small packages would be prepared. Equipment, specialized technology, things that could be sent secretly, things that could help one soldier survive and fight back. David Henderson was no longer just a soldier. He was a one-man intelligence operation, and Earth was going to make sure he succeeded. The Kraxan Collective was losing its mind. Something was wrong, very wrong. Their perfect military machine was falling apart. Communication systems failed. Patrol routes became impossible. Equipment stopped working correctly. In the central command room of their massive battleship, commanders screamed at each other. Red warning lights flashed everywhere. Something was attacking them, but they couldn't see the enemy. Commander Volk slammed his hand on the communication panel. "Find the source," he shouted, but nobody could. David Henderson was winning a war without firing a single direct shot. His work was precise, careful, each action designed to create maximum confusion. The nanobots in his body worked like a supercomputer, helping him understand alien technology faster than any normal human could. He had turned the battlefield into his own personal war room. Broken alien equipment became his tools. Destroyed communication arrays became his weapons. Every piece of technology was a puzzle, and David was solving it piece by piece. The Galactic Council began to worry. Strange reports came in. The Kraxan Collective was losing control of entire planetary sectors. Their military was falling apart from the inside. Jun Ho, the young analyst, brought more evidence to the council. Weird communication patterns, signals that made no sense, disruptions that shouldn't be possible. "Someone is out there," he said. "Someone is fighting back." Most council members laughed, but some began to listen. On the alien planet, David continued his work. His body was almost fully healed now. The nanobots had done more than just repair him. They had made him stronger, faster, smarter. He found an alien communication hub, a massive building full of technology that controlled entire planetary communication systems. Most soldiers would see an impossible target. David saw an opportunity. His plan was simple but crazy. Hack the system. Create total communication chaos. Make the Kraxan Collective believe they were under attack from multiple directions. Small devices he had created from broken alien technology began to work. Communication signals went crazy. Patrol routes became nonsense. Military orders became impossible to understand. The Kraxan Collective started to panic. Their perfect military machine was breaking down, and they had no idea why. Massive battleships began to move in random directions. Communication systems failed. Entire military units became lost, all because of one human, one soldier they thought they had killed. David Henderson was no longer just surviving. He was fighting back, and he was winning. The alien sky burned red. David Henderson stood on a rocky outcropping. His body was different now, changed by nanobots, stronger than when he first arrived, smarter, more adapted to this alien world. The Kraxan Collective had sent everything they had. Massive battleships filled the sky. Ground forces spread across the rocky landscape. They knew something was destroying them from inside, and they were going to find it. David was ready. His plan was not about killing. It was about proving something. Humans were not weak. Humans were not easy to destroy. The first wave of alien troops moved across the broken ground. Their weapons were powerful. Their armor was strong. They believed this would be a simple mission. Find the problem. Destroy it. They were wrong. David had spent weeks preparing. Every piece of alien technology was now his weapon. Communication systems, power generators, transportation networks. He had turned the entire planet into one massive trap. The first alien patrol group moved into the valley. Their heavy vehicles made noise. Dust rose around them. They thought they were strong, unstoppable. David pressed one button on the device he had created. Suddenly, the alien vehicles stopped working. Their communication systems went crazy. Their weapons failed. They became confused, lost. More troops came. More vehicles arrived. The Kraxan Collective was throwing everything they had at this problem. David watched, carefully, waiting. His nanobots were doing more than just keeping him alive. They were helping him think, process information faster than any normal human could, see connections that were invisible to others. The battlefield became a maze of confusion. Alien troops moved in wrong directions. Their advanced technology became useless. Their perfect military machine was falling apart. Commander Volk, the lead Kraxan military commander, realized something was very wrong. This was not a normal battle. This was something else. David had turned the entire planet into a weapon. Communication systems failed. Vehicles stopped working. Weapons became useless. The Kraxan Collective was fighting an enemy they could not see, could not understand. One human soldier had done more damage than entire military divisions. The battle was not about killing. It was about sending a message. Humans would not be forgotten. Humans would not be easily destroyed. David Henderson stood on the rocky outcropping. Around him, the alien military machine was falling apart. He had won. The galaxy changed that day. News traveled fast. One human soldier had defeated an entire alien military force, not by strength, not by direct fighting, but by intelligence, by understanding, by refusing to die. In the Galactic Council meeting room, silence was heavy. Jun-Ho stood in the center. His datapad showed everything. Proof of what happened. Proof of David Henderson's incredible victory. Humans are not what we thought, he said. His voice was calm. But everyone could hear the importance of his words. Elder Kira, who once laughed at the idea of a human survivor, now looked scared. The Kraxan Collective's military was in pieces. Their communication systems destroyed. Their confidence broken. David Henderson was more than a soldier now. He was a message. Back on Earth, Admiral Hyun-Ki watched the reports come in. One soldier had changed everything. Proved the humans were more than just another species in the galaxy. Proved that they could fight back. The nanobots that saved David were now a message too. Human technology was more advanced than anyone knew. More powerful than anyone expected. Alien species began to look at humans differently. No longer just another species to be conquered. Now a species to be respected, to be careful around. David's transmission came one last time. Short, simple, powerful. We are still here, it said. We are still fighting. The Kraxan Collective learned a hard lesson. Never underestimate an enemy. Never believe a fight is over until you are absolutely sure. Jun-Ho knew this was just the beginning. Humans would not be forgotten again. They would not be pushed aside. They would fight. They would survive. The Galactic Council would have to change. Their view of humans would have to change. One soldier had done what entire military divisions could not do. He had sent a message that would echo across the galaxy. Humans were here to stay, and they would not be easily defeated.